Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Look, I am not going to hold you guys long today because I have some special guests and I want to be able to talk to them. And we're going to be talking about some interesting things today. So, guess what? I am going to start off by, I'm going to take my glasses off. I'm going to start off by making us a bread pudding, right? And so after I do that, then I'm going to introduce you to my special guest. Now, while I'm making up this bread pudding, I'm going to let them eat because I made them a little yummy, right? And these are some healthy people. And so you'll know why we're going to be discussing what we're discussing because of the way they're eating. So I made them a little bit of potato soup. I'll show you just a little bit of it without showing you them. Yeah, just a little potato soup because this is mine. I'm going to touch it. Little potato soup, some kale salad, and some garlic bread. Yes. And so that's what they're going to be eating while we have a little chat and talk about this bread pudding. Now, look, when I was growing up, my mother used to make bread pudding and I was not fond of it. And the reason I was not fond of it is because she used to take a lot of day old bread or even her old biscuits and she would make her bread pudding. And although it had all these great flavors, I have a consistency problem. And so it wasn't tasty to me. And so I figured out a way to make my mother's bread pudding with my own little twist. And one of the things that I do is I make it with croissants, right? And so I get croissants, and what I've done is I've cut up these croissants in like cubes, right? And now that I have them cut up in cubes, I am going to start to layer all the yummy ingredients that mom used to layer into hers when she was making her bread pudding. And we're going to cook it. And then I'm going to add a blueberry compost to it. It's going to be yummy. It's going to be yummy. So I've already started off. I cracked 3 eggs so that Maurice wouldn't bother me today. I cracked 3 eggs. And so I'm just going to beat those up real quick because this is your base of your slurry that you're going to be putting in your bread pudding. And then I'm going to add some heavy cream. And that's about a cup of heavy cream. And then I am going to stir that up all nice. And then I'm going to start laying. I have some butter. I'm just going to put a little butter in there. Just a little. So I got some butter. And now I'm going to start layering in my vanilla. You can't have any bread pudding without some vanilla. I'm going to grab my measuring spoon and I'm just going to put about a teaspoon in there as well. I ran out of vanilla because I'm baking all the time, so I'm using vanilla quite often. So this is I'm going to do 1 and 2. And notice that there's always a little slurry coming over the edge because that's just how my mama did it. Yeah, that's how she did it. And so I'm going to stir that up. And then I'm going to add some sugar, about 1/4 of a cup of white granulated sugar. Mm-hmm. And then I'm also going to add some brown sugar. And I know these healthy people over here like, oh, that sugar. I got raw sugar. I got some raw brown sugar, right? And then we're going to stir that up. Now it's getting good. So I'm going to add some cinnamon, right? And a lot of times you can just add cinnamon to taste. And so that's probably about a 1/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then I am a big fan of nutmeg. So I'm going to add about the same amount of nutmeg. And how many shakes is that? That many. It's that many. But still, that's about 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. Now, I know there's raw eggs in here and you can't taste it. No, you can't, but that's okay because it's ready. And yours should look something like this. Yes, you should see all the seasonings from the nutmeg in here. You should be able to, do y'all smell that? See, my guests can smell that. This smell of it. This smells like Christmas. It smells like Thanksgiving. It smells like all those things. So now that I've gotten that all mixed up, I'm going to grab me a spatula and I'm just going to pour this. I'm going to pour this onto the croissants. And we want to let it get all marinated in there. You guys see that? So I got that in there. I'm getting ready to stir this up, toss it. So I don't like for the bread pudding to be dry. I like for it to have a little moisture to it. And this is my girl Michelle. This is her favorite. So I've been testing this particular recipe in my kitchen for probably the last 6 months. Mm-hmm. And so every time I make it, Michelle's like, that's a hit. That's a hit. When are we going to take it to the market? And I said, okay, it's time. It's time to take it to the market. So look, you guys, all of that juicy is getting imposed in there, all soaking it all up. And so I have a small pan because I'm only making this for 3 of us. And so I'm not making a lot. So I'm going to put that in here and then we're going to put it in the oven and we're going to let it bake. And then I'm going to start my compost. And then we're going to talk to my guest. I'm going to make sure that they get all of their tasty greens that they're eating. How is your salad?
Wonderful.
Very good. Mm-hmm. So this smells so good. It really does smell like Thanksgiving or Christmas in the kitchen. Okay, so now that I have all of that in there, I'm just going to press it down a little bit. I hear that crunching on all those vegetables. And then we get to top it off with some bread pudding. So I'm going to take this, and this is what it looks like in our pan. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to, you can sprinkle a couple of blueberries on top. And then it's going to look like that. And now I'm going to put this in the oven for about 30 minutes. Stick mine in the oven. Okay, now I'm going to take you guys over to my stove real quick. I am going to start this quick compost. And y'all used to moving around in the kitchen with me, right? So I got a little butter here that I'm going to be using for my compost. I'm going to pop you guys down so you can see as much of it as you possibly can. I'm going to turn on my eye. And I just like to keep this really simple. I don't add a lot of water because I don't want the taste of the blueberries to be lost. I keep my ingredients simple, just a little sugar. I am going to add a little taste of lemon, some fresh lemon. Yeah, I'm going to add some of that. Fresh lemon on there. Then I got my trusty wooden spoon, and so we're going to stir this compost, right? We're just going to let it start to simmer. It's going to get a nice, you see that? It smells so good. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of vanilla. And then that's going to be it. We're just going to let this compost kind of simmer down. And it will be all ready. All right. So yep, still letting this cook. I'm going to let this cook down. And of course, I am that cook. As you cook, you definitely have to taste what it is you're cooking so that you know if you need to add something to it. And so this is good so far. I might add just a little bit more sugar, but I'm going to see what kind of flavors come out in this blueberry compost already without adding any sugar. So I just want to keep that natural flavor coming out in the blueberries. Yes. So you guys, as I let this simmer, I want to tell you guys again a little Black history story because this is so relevant to what we are discussing today. And that is, I've talked about him several times, and that's my grandfather, right? My grandfather was a farmer. Not only was he a farmer, my grandfather was a Black farmer, and he was an entrepreneur. He was a creator. He was a builder of communities. He fed a lot of communities through his farming and through his teachings of farming. And so sometimes in your life, you actually run into people with the same heart and the same direction as something that God has given you. And so today, our special guests are near and dear to my heart, and they also labor in the same manner in which my grandfather did. And so as soon as I don't want to burn this compost now, but I'm going to introduce you guys to them so that you guys, I'm going to turn my eye down. So I'm going to let this simmer and we are going to talk. But I want to introduce you guys today to an amazing couple. And when people are always saying things about a power couple, I'm learning that having a power couple is really only having, it's as simple as having two people who come together and agree, right? And so these two people have come together and they have agreed that they are headed toward the same journey, and they are building lives for people. So I am not going to hold you any longer. I am introducing you to none other than Maurice and Maxine Theriot. Maurice, are you in the shot? I'm gonna have to pull us so we all get into the shot.
Yes.
Can I see? I'll see me in the middle.
Closer.
We'll get closer. Yes, we'll have to squeeze.
We're family. We're family.
Absolutely.
We are family.
And I'll be popping in and out.
Yes.
I'm gonna make sure that I get this camera all set up, and then I'll have Maurice come a little closer in. Mm-hmm. There we go. There we go. These people, these amazing people. Now I just met. Look, I don't even know how to talk. I just met them probably about a year. It's been about a year ago.
About that, yeah.
And it's like their family. I mean, they were already family to some of my other part of the family. And then I met them and then they became my family. But these two people are so inspiring in what they do. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. I'm going to let Miss Maxine go first. I want you to introduce yourself and tell the people how you got to this journey, and then I'll let Maurice go, and then we'll start having some conversations.
Well, hello. I am Dr. Maxine Theriot. So
she said doctor with a doctor. Doctor.
Yes, I have board certification in family medicine and undersea and hyperbaric medicine, and that's currently what I practice full time. However, we're going to talk about farming today and how everybody can get back to their backyards or their porches or balconies to be able to start growing their own food. And this has become a passion of ours, probably over the last, for me anyway, the last 5 to 6 years. I started though from the time that I was in high school as a teenager. I had an interest mainly in flowers and botany on that side. So my parents allowed me to, spread some seeds in the front yard along the landscaping. And my reward was, seeing the flowers, smelling them. Graduated from wildflowers all the way up to gladiolas and rose bushes. But when I went away to college at Texas A&M in Texas,
go Texas,
I thought about becoming a master gardener. I remember that, but I never underwent the whole process of doing it. It required a few things that I just wasn't sure how I could make it work. Plus, I was studying to try to become a doctor and get into medical school. And from there, I got accepted into Loma Linda University in Loma Linda, California. And so did med school there. Didn't do anything with farming and gardening. Got married in 1998. And we didn't do much in the beginning of our marriage. My husband was in the financial field. I was doing my doctoring thing. And it wasn't until really COVID hit, and I'll let him tell, the inspiration for what we do in more detail. But it was after that and seeing the panic and the shelves, being just emptied. It's like, we're so far removed from our food source and there's no reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, then started, I started to have more inspiration. And the more that he got into it, the more that I got into it, then that's what's kind of driven us to the point that when we moved to Missouri, which we're in now, we both underwent the whole process to become those master gardeners. So we're both certified master gardeners in Missouri. So that's how we got to this point.
I'm sitting in the middle of narration.
Yes.
I love it so much. I love how she just glided past. I do the doctor. Blah, 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 blah. Look, we as women, we're not gonna shine. I'm gonna give her shine.
That's right.
This is an amazing woman, and I'm talking about the doctor. Just smart, intelligent, kind, and loving. And so I am so glad that we sit here today to be able to talk to her. Maurice, I'm gonna check on my.
Please do.
But then you're gonna talk because
Yes.
my mama said you can't leave the kitchen while you're cooking.
Right.
I shouldn't have left the stove. Ooh, yeah, they're doing good. They are doing good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The compost is coming up very fine. Okay, so now I want to make sure that they really are going to get your face, because if y'all see this face in y'all yard somewhere banging on your door, you're talking about let's grow
Right,
something.
that's right. Come on.
It is this man. So please, sir, introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Drew. My name is Maurice Theriot. I say that I always, when we introduce ourselves, even if I'm alone, I say that we are Maurice and Maxine Theriot. When you see one, you see the other, because the two of us really are one.
Yeah.
What we are experiencing right now and what we're doing right now truly is a miracle. My background is in finance and accounting, and if you would have told me 10 years ago that we would be gardening and we would be teaching people how to grow their own food, I would have laughed at you. But I truly believe that when you make yourself available to God and you begin to walk in your calling, that then you will really begin to see doors open up for you in your life in ways that you would never have imagined before. My wife said that she was going to allow me to share how we got to where we are today. It was about 2017. And we just had a backyard garden, built a raised bed there. And again, talking about allowing God to use you. His ways are not our ways. We don't know how he's positioning individuals, but if you tell him, God, I'm willing to be utilized by you in whatever way that you want to use me, Lord, then I'm willing to be used. We began building a backyard garden, and we've gotten very good at it. And people began to ask us, man, how do I grow, the type of vegetables that you all are growing, the quality that you all are growing. And again, we didn't know. We were just out there. We were just trying things. But again, people began to ask us more and more. In 2019, we launched our own organization, which was called Theriot Farms. It's an educational initiative where we travel all across the country teaching people how to grow their own food. And from there, again, following in, listening to God and what he wanted us to do, kept hearing a still small voice saying, we're living in Texas. I want you all in Missouri. See, go ahead.
We heard the same voice.
Go ahead, right.
Oh my God.
Right. I'm like, where is this coming from?
Right.
Right. Missouri. Correct. I want you in the state of Missouri. We're like, what in the world? That's right. That's right. So we had come to a growing conference in Mansfield, Missouri, by Baker Creek. And Drew, I have some Baker Creek seeds here with me today. I'm going to gift
Oh,
you,
thank you.
right, some of these seeds. So, Drew,
Oh, we plant these
yeah,
together.
yeah.
You and I, we gonna plant them together.
I got you some seeds, and I'm also going to give you one of their seed catalogs.
Look,
from-
this is amazing.
Yes.
I'm gonna have some some cabbage, some bell pepper, some peppers, some watermelon. Y'all better get to growing.
Absolutely. See? So you're going to have the
Thank you,
highly
Maurice.
sought after 2025 whole seed catalog. I'm going to give that to you.
My brothers are going to love that.
Yes, indeed.
They are farmers in their own right.
See? And so we were going to one of their seminars that they were having there in Mansfield, Missouri. And I told Maxine, I said, Maxine, one day we're going to be speaking. We're going to be speakers at this seminar. Just watch, thousands of people come from all over the country. But when we came back through Missouri, there was a hospital. The middle of the night, we saw a hospital in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, right there. And Maxine didn't have any clothes that she could wear the following morning. We stayed in this little town. And so she said, I'm going to go and see if they have a wound center in that hospital. So she went across the street to Ross Dress for Less and changed her clothes, went on in. And she said, I'm just going to go there, and if they've got a wound, I'll tell them what it is that
woman of faith.
Right, that it would take for me to get here to this town and everything like that. I'm just going to lay it out there to them. So about an hour later, she texted me. I was in the car. Maurice, can you send me my CV? They want to see my CV and things like that. And so the individuals up in the C-suite, they were having lunch, and the young lady said, "Look, can you come back at 1 o'clock after lunch? The CEO, the CFO, the CNO, they'd like to talk with you." So we went and had lunch, came back at around 1 o'clock or so. Maxine went in about 3 o'clock. Here comes my wife out of the hospital with the CEO, the CFO, the CNO. Remember, just a few hours before, she was just at Ross, went changed into some things. So I'm going to go in there, talk to people, and see what they have. She came back, and they all introduced themselves to me. I was sitting in the truck, and they said, "Sir, we want you to check your email in about an hour. Your wife should have a contract that we're offering her here at the hospital."
And I didn't get that impression to come to Missouri.
See,
it was based on him.
See,
so he is my husband. So I followed his lead. And when he was that sure that he heard that voice and that calling, then I said, "Okay, I've got to go with it."
Ooh,
to God be the glory.
Yes,
they gave me an offer. Basically,
that she couldn't refuse.
Right. Basically,
they were that God, that Jesus offer.
They were looking for a medical director for their wound center for 8 months and had not found one. And in I walk, with all the experience and the credentials, and they were like,
with clothes from the discount store. Yes, that's right. That's
where smart people
start. There you go. Yes, indeed. And from that situation, things have just been opening up for us beyond our wildest imagination here in the area. I got on with Lincoln University. At first, I was working in their small farm programs. We were, helping under-resourced individuals with what they needed to be able to make, their farms a success. And then,
and at that time, Maurice, you didn't even know that you were actually working with my grandfather's daughter.
I did not know that.
Right.
See,
the farmer man who started all this stuff over here,
beginning to put those pieces.
And you were working with his daughter, who is so funny because she's very smart, very intelligent, but then when she's like, "I'm getting a degree in agriculture," like, what the world? What's she gonna do with that? Right. Run a whole agriculture department. That's what.
See? Absolutely.
Yes.
And then a couple of months later, heard about an opportunity that a local urban farm needed an executive director there in Cape Girardeau. So again, now we are here in the Missouri area, just listening to the call of God, almost like Abraham. I want you to take your family and your things and your belongings, and I want you to pack up and go to a place that I will show you. We did not know that we were going to be anywhere near this area and what it was going to bring for us once we got here. But now I'm the executive director of an urban farm in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, called Southside Farms.
Yes.
And we are there. That is a miracle in and of itself, located directly in the middle of a federally designated food desert.
Yep.
But in our second growing season alone, we've already put 6,000 pounds of food directly into the local food supply chain. We've assisted over 800 people to experience fresh farm to table food on their tables. That's right. That's right. We
Farm to the table.
and I tell people all the time, when you know where your food comes from, you can taste the difference.
Yes.
Your food is not coming all the way from South America. It's not coming all the way from Central America. We pick it and you go and you cook it, and doesn't have any pesticides on it. It's all organic. You can truly taste the difference. And so that is what we want to do. That's why we got into this field, because we wanted to inspire individuals to get back to growing their own food. You said something about your grandfather. I tell people all the time, we are not so far removed. Maybe your parents didn't have a backyard garden, but the percentage gets higher that your grandparents did, and certainly that your great grandparents did. So when you had something like the pandemic happen and there was no food on the shelves, that wouldn't have been that big of a deal to those individuals, because when I talk to seniors all the time, they tell, we didn't buy our produce and our veg from the grocery store, And so that's where our passion lies, is to being able to help people get back to growing their own food.
Maurice, if you could tell people, like, what is it that they need to have to make this happen? Because I think a lot of times people think that, it is work, right? Because, and it's scriptural, right? We have to toil after the soil, right? And so, what would people, if you say, go get these things, and this is what you need to start a small, so they can just get started,
right?
What would you suggest?
And Maxine could probably help me there. We help people. A lady had reached out to us. She lived in an apartment. And she said, I see what you all are doing for individuals all the time. She said, you think that I could grow anything? And I live in an apartment. I will have you know that lady in her apartment there in Dallas, Texas, on her balcony was growing watermelon. Absolutely, was growing watermelon.
Yes.
Where there is a will, there is a way. And you can actually grow. You don't have to have a whole lot of space, but I'll give you a couple of things, and I'll give you this for free. I usually put this in my seminars and things like that. Here's some things that you absolutely have to have if you're going to have what I call a green thumb. You're going to, number one, you need to consider your water source. How far are you away from your water source where you actually want to begin your garden? Because the further you are away from your water source, I'm going to tell you, the less and less your garden is going to get watered.
Wow.
I don't care how enthusiastic you are about it. I don't care how committed you think you might be. The further you are away from your water source, if you're 200 feet, 300 feet, 400 feet off the back of your house or something like that, you're not going to water it very much. It's going to get watered less and less. So consider your water source really quickly. Number two, you have to consider the amount of direct sunlight that you get in an area. Most things that people eat now, we're not talking about your things like your basil and your herbs and things like that, but your vegetables tend to need about 8 hours of direct sunlight. So this is what I want you to do. When you go outside on a particular day, I want you to look out in the morning and see, am I getting direct sunlight in this particular area? So maybe you check it at 8 o'clock. No direct sun. 9 o'clock, no direct sun. 10 o'clock, no sun. By 12 o'clock, you say, oh, look, there's a little bit of sun there. Well, that's probably not going to be the best spot for you, because remember, I said you need about 8 hours of direct sunlight. So again, you're considering your water source. Say, look, I've got water source close by, and now you want to consider how much direct sunlight you're getting. You look at that spot, say, man, this spot is getting full sun for about 8 hours, like Maurice said. Okay, so now you're well onto something there. So consider your water source, consider your the amount of direct sunlight that you're getting, and then I want you to do a little bit of studying on fertilizer. NPK. You've got to understand your fertilizer: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. We won't get into that. Maybe we'll do a class for your viewers at some point in time.
No, they're going to come here.
Okay, yeah,
have a class
yes,
here.
absolutely.
They need to come to the land.
Yes, and do it. Understand NPK. But those are some of the three things, the major things that you have to realize and understand. But again, you want to get you a good fertilizer. Try to do as organic as possible. You want to get you a good growing medium, some sort of compost that you can that you can grow in. And then you're going to want to get some sort of box that you can put it in. Doesn't have to be big or anything like that, but just to contain the soil in there. And if you just focus on those three things, again, I'm close to my water, I'm getting some good amount of direct sunlight, and I'm starting to understand nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, because just like you need nutrition, your plants need nutrition as well. Understand those things, and you're well on your way.
So, quick question, Maurice.
Mhm.
Because we're in Missouri,
Yes,
we got other people.
that's correct.
No, we got other things.
That is right.
That are trying to eat what we're growing.
Yeah,
How do we keep them from eating up
I got you.
all of what we're growing?
Yeah.
Because we know them deers be out here, and some of all the other animals. My father used to say, "Plant some for you,
And
plant some for them."
correct.
Now, is that correct?
That is correct. You can build your little fence. Get you some T-posts and put around the parameters of your garden there, and then just get some sort of mesh if you want to, and you can put that around the T-post as well, just to create some sort of little barrier of entry so that they won't get in. But I thought you were going to, when you said things are eating, I thought you were going to those chewing pests. That's right, bugs. And things like that. That's a whole nother conversation, but you can do that organically as well. Organic farmers need to pay a little more attention, be a little more diligent than individuals who are spraying synthetic pesticides. Because, hey, I tell people all the time, yeah, you may go to the grocery store and you see their collard greens, and their collards don't have any holes in them. Their mustard greens don't have any holes in them. When I sell you mine, or when you get mine, yeah, there might be a little bite or something. But if the bugs are not going to eat it, if the bugs don't want to bite, then we shouldn't be eating it also. Absolutely, absolutely.
Very good. Well, I know that planting. So, when is a good time to plant, and what seasons can we plant different things? Because how many quarters of the year
Yes.
can we plant, and then what should we be doing with our stuff when we pull it out of the field?
And that was another thing that I was going to suggest as well. Every county in the United States has an extension. So you want to get with your local extension, or you can even look at it online.
What do you call them?
An extension office. So this is going to be a branch of a governmental branch, usually run by a university.
Oh, okay.
And so
Lincoln.
Lincoln University has an extension, Mizzou has an extension, and Texas A&M has an extension, and they're willing to assist you. And you can go out online, and what I want you to find in your area is your planting guide for where you live. Okay, so you want to go down and find out the planting guide and planting schedule for where you live, because I may start my seeds in my area in a particular time, and you can't do that where you are.
Right.
Like, so in Texas, they may be starting seeds already. In Missouri, we're just now getting started. So you want to know your USD, it's called USDA hardiness zone.
Very good.
Your USDA hardiness zone, find your USDA hardiness zone, the zone that you are in, and then you want to get that list that will tell you, based on where I live, what can I plant and when. Because people oftentimes, they're not successful because they think they can just throw some seeds in the ground at any time of the year. So you need to know what to plant and when. Go online, find your USDA hardiness zone, and it will tell you what you can plant at what time in the zone that you live. Now, Drew, one of the things that we really have to get back to, you said, what do we do with the harvest after we get it? Or sometimes we have exit. That is correct. Canning. Canning is a lost art. We've got to get back to canning and understand, because, again, that's something that our ancestors knew how to do.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it's something that I know how to do.
You know how to can, Drew?
Look, my mother was born in the 30s.
Okay.
1930, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so she came with a skill set. I mean, there's 12 of us. So I was this young kid knowing how to do all of these things on the farm, because my mother had these skill sets and she would teach us how to can. Now, she canned two different ways. She would can in the freezer, and then she would also can in her jars. So with corn, corn, she would take off the cob.
Yeah.
She wouldn't cook it. She would just put it into her, they used to have these plastic containers with these lids on them.
Okay.
She would put the corn in there and click the lids. Same thing with tomatoes. She used to do tomatoes like that. And then with her peas and stuff, with my dad, they started taking all of their peas off the hull, not washing them, not cooking them, just putting them straight in the bag and putting them in the freezer.
Wow.
Then when you get them out, they taste just as fresh as you did when you checking them out the garden.
We got to learn that
these
process.
These are some of the tips and tricks
that
they used to do. And even with the pickling. So the pickling was different. My mother used to have me churning butter. I'm like,
Wow.
this is when I started dreaming myself off the farm.
Okay.
Why am I turning? I'm going to New York and I'm going to be living somewhere else. And
Here
so,
you are,
right,
back to it again.
I did escape for about 33 years
Okay.
to Virginia.
Yeah.
So, but the crazy part is that I was able to take all those skill sets with me. So, having some of those skill sets and being able to share them with my friends and
That's
organization, they're like, "Oh my God, why does she know all this stuff?"
So,
But
absolutely.
it was the mother, yeah.
And Andrew, I want to show you and your viewers one thing. So this right here is a pepper, and you
Yes.
see it's called jalapeno. What
Ooh.
jalapeno is, it's going to give you all the flavor of a jalapeno, but without the heat. So some people
What
are
kind
right.
of fun is
So-
that?
somebody.
I chopped this stuff over there just to throw it out the potato soup. Who wants a
Without heat. But that's just and there's
But with that, I can see put that in cornbread,
Yeah,
right?
you know.
So that you can get that jalapeno feel and not have that.
and not have to be so spicy.
Yeah.
But there are so many things out there. Some people have never even heard of brown jalapeno.
They're
Yeah, and we
good.
love growing the brown jalapeno. That's something that we love to grow. People always say, okay, well, what about in cucumbers? Well, there are all kinds of different varieties. Market More 76. This is one of the most prolific growers. If you want to start off with something, you start off with something like that. So again, knowing what's available and what's out there.
Now, where did you say we can get these seeds?
So these seeds come directly from Baker Creek.
Now, why do you like them so much?
Well, because they're heirloom seeds. So heirloom seeds means that you can grow this product, you can save the seed, and it will grow true to the product that you knew.
That's some real farming.
Yes. It's not a hybrid, because a hybrid is not necessarily a GMO, but a hybrid seed is not going to grow true to form the next growing season. Heirloom seeds will grow true to form. So you will always get Market More 76. You save these seeds. You will always get this fielder kraut cabbage or this another one. Most people have never seen cabbage look like that.
I was going to ask you about that. It's a spiral cabbage.
That is correct.
I haven't seen those.
When I was at Baker Creek, sometimes I asked them, and they gift me seeds from time to time, and I ask them, what sort of things can I grow that are unique? And they say, you should try the fielder kraut cabbage. It's a cabbage that grows spirally like that.
It looks like a what do you call the baby? I call them baby cabbages.
The bok choy or which one? Brussels sprout. Brussels. Okay.
It looks like a big daddy Brussels sprout.
Some of the sweetest watermelon here. Or this one here is called Wilson Sweet. That's one that we love. To utilize there.
And they're seeded.
These are seeded watermelon, and there's just so much out there that people just need to give it a try. And one of the things that I am also, and my wife and I were also, very passionate about is getting children back into gardening.
Yes.
When you go to these schools and when you go to these groups, these children's groups and youth groups, and you bring out this soil and this seeds, their eyes just light up because they get it. They understand how important that is.
That would be amazing. I mean, I can see definitely something like that working here for us to be able to have the students come. As a matter of fact, when my father was living, Brenda would bring the kids to my father's garden.
Okay.
And let them go roam through the garden, pick things, and show them, what was being raised and stuff like that. And so,
you would let me and Dr. Theriot do something like that? Have classes
absolutely.
here? Okay, very good.
That's a partnership, right?
Yes,
We would love to do that
right.
and to make sure that that the next generation is actually getting, what it is.
I like that. Robinson Farm Next Gen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next generation. Very good.
It took you a minute, Maurice, but you left. We are, because what happened was when my father passed away and the Lord said that we were going to have, the hotel, add this hotel to the legacy.
Yeah.
I thought that we were the next generation.
Okay.
Then I checked the time clock.
Watch it.
So,
have mercy.
This is only not you. This is your children and your children's children. So I definitely shifted my mindset to my children and all the nieces and nephews who are our next generation, who are so close on our heels that I told them, we're gonna turn this over real quick. We're gonna put down the roots, and then we're gonna flip it to them, so that they can really have an opportunity to grow in this thing and to to reimagine farming, and then to imagine having the opportunity to have a hotel, and so to have all of this farm resort in
Yes.
one place, and to
Mhm.
create an amazing experience for
Yes.
people to be able to come and do wholeness and wellness
See?
and all that stuff.
Oh, that's
That's
my
it.
passion.
She said, yeah, Doctor, that's right.
That's my
That makes your eyes light up and
Yes.
sparkle.
Now,
You know.
when you start talking about wholeness and wellness,
Yes.
and part of the farming interest that I have is looking at different foods, what's considered to be weeds or throwaway plants,
Mhm.
and looking at their medicinal benefits and bringing that to individuals to be able to use more natural remedies that
Mhm.
don't have necessarily all the side effects that a lot of these
Yeah, 'cause
medicines nowadays have.
our parents gave us
Mhm.
castor oil,
Castor oil.
and it solved a lot
And
of
it's
stuff.
wonderful.
It's
It's wonderful.
it fixed a lot of problems.
It fixed
Lots
a
of
lot of
problems.
problems. Maline is common around here as a weed, but it helps individuals as an expectorant. It helps with inflammation. Just Maline tea, or you can just breathe in the vapors when you have like the flu
See,
or
it's
something.
that doctoral thing
So,
that when you really see what the Lord has done,
Yes.
look how
yes.
weaved and how perfectly that this makes sense.
Right, right.
I mean, he couldn't start you off saying, "Girl, you're gonna be a head gardener." Because no, he was like, "No, I don't want to be." He was like, "You're gonna be a doctor,
Mhm.
and you're gonna learn how things
See?
grow, and you're gonna learn how things are connected, and you're
See?
gonna learn how things, what is it, procreate."
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
Yeah, you learned all those things, and so
Yes.
now this
And the
this is
benefits.
the abundance, right?
Yes.
This is
Mm.
when you get to
It's the
live life
benefits.
and live life more abundantly. Is when you're really walking in your passion. And
That was my
Absolutely.
word last year, abundance.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So I'm gonna go over here
You gotta
and I'm
check
gonna
your
check.
bread.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
gonna check on our bread pudding,
Okay.
and Maurice is gonna continue.
Yes.
He's gonna continue to talk about all the cool stuff that Southside Farm is doing.
Yes. And so there in Cape Girardeau, I mean, that is a miracle in and of itself. What's going on there at Southside Farms. Like I said, we're in the second growing season, 6,000 pounds of food, local food supply chain, or 800 direct impact that we've had, individuals being able to get that farm to table produce. We're putting in our infrastructure. Right now, we have our greenhouse that has just gone up. We have two more hoop houses that we're looking to put up. And it's just a weather thing. We've been getting all this rain.
So you have your 2 container houses.
So we have one greenhouse that's up already, and then we have two more hoop houses or high tunnels that are going up, and just waiting for this weather to pass so that we can get back out there and put those up. We've already ordered our multi-purpose building. Again, they called us last week, said that that's ready. They're just again waiting for weather permitting to come. So we are at we're experiencing some exciting times right now. Yes, over there. And again, like I tell people all the time, we're just getting started. You know,
With my little brother Wiki.
Wiki. Shout out to Wiki. Absolutely. My operations manager, Wiki Jean, and my farm manager, Jake Smith over there. Those guys are doing a great job there. Absolutely, at Southside. One of the things that you had mentioned earlier, and I always look to my wife. She is a physician who is also a praying person, and has a relationship with our Creator. We believe that we were fearfully and wonderfully made, and she believes that that all these disease processes and things that individuals are experiencing, that there is a lot of times a natural remedy that can be utilized to bring about healing. Doctor, you want to talk about a little bit about your functional medicine side of things?
Yes, please do.
Functional medicine involves looking at the root cause of a problem. So instead of just looking at the symptoms or the end result, we try to kind of hone in on what is the real underlying issue. So everything from the gut just not having the right type of gut flora or bacteria that a little bit of imbalance can lead to other things, from brain deterioration to diabetes. I mean, so many other things can come out of an imbalance just by what is in our GI system or gastrointestinal system. So you look at root causes, but then I feel like, again, a voice, just like my husband has heard a voice, says that there is a remedy, whether it's within your lifestyle, what you're exposed to, even, and what you're eating, that basically there's a remedy for all of the lifestyle diseases that are out here. So, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, strokes, arthritis,
Yes.
autoimmune diseases, that a lot of it can be remedied with how you eat and how you live. So, simple things like sleeping, having 8 hours of sleep, and having it at night, because we're all hardwired with a circadian rhythm. And if we break that circadian rhythm, it causes anxiety and stress, which increases the cortisol levels inside of our system.
And Dr. Terry, also some of this about where we are today out here at Robinson Farm, out here in the country, getting out of that's right. Getting out in nature.
Exactly. Just having the sunshine, vitamin D in our system. We have to be out in the sun based on the amount of melanin in our skin a little bit longer than other individuals to be able to convert it to an active form. So yes, there's so much to being out in the country and to farm life and farm living that is helpful to keep us all healthy too. So not just the plants themselves, but the environment, the activity of working and using our muscles, bending over, standing up. All of that helps with even our core getting stronger and using our muscles, and it's a way to even help with weight control and getting your weight down if you're overweight, and getting your diabetes under control because you're exercising on a regular basis. But folks don't realize sleep is so important. Getting those 8 hours of sleep and decreasing the amount of stress in your life makes such a difference. And so being out away from the stressors of the city life, all of it works together.
Wow. And look what I was cooking up. Can y'all see that? We gotta show Maurice.
Yes, indeed.
Wow.
There you go.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Yes, indeed.
So we are getting to dig into some of this bread pudding. Yes, you guys have to tell me. I've got to even go all the colors that you have, all of those colors, the blueberries, the antioxidants that are in them are helpful. The green, I thought about my guest.
Yes, she did. She did. She fed us about the potatoes.
This is really the experience that we want to have at Robinson Farm, right? That farm to table tasty. I mean, because you can't beat the 3 ingredients that I put in this, just to produce it. And the other thing is like I've moved to like this grass-fed butter.
Okay.
It doesn't even taste like
the regular
butter, right? And I was like, okay, but I'm gonna keep using it.
And one of the things that I wanted to mention also.
Cheers.
One of the things that I wanted to mention also was that when you look at some of our ancestors and some of these the seniors and their healthy lifestyle, how they look.
Sorry. I'm gonna get us back in queue.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Your face is missing, and so is Maxine.
That's okay. It's all right. It's all right. How they looked well into their 70s and well into their 80s.
Wow. Yes.
And because these people were out there in their gardens. They were out there working in their garden. Those people were in good shape, much better shape than a lot of people are today. And you wonder, man, how is this person in such good? How can they keep going and going up? Because they're working in their garden. They're not living in the cities. They're out in the country. They're getting that vitamin D, that fresh air. And I believe that is what was God's plan for us.
Yes,
Michelle. When I tell you, I know you're already on here. I'll make you one when you get here. This is so good.
And it's hot and it's fresh. And
yes, so you guys definitely check out the recipe.
Maurice. Michelle, she hooked it up. She hooked it up, Michelle. Yes, indeed.
But it is such a pleasure to be able to sit here and speak with like-minded people.
Yes.
On the same path, that God would just, intersect our lives. And I'm so appreciative that you guys were able to come out today. I want you guys to be following. You can follow them on Instagram and I know Facebook. Theriot Farms.
Theriot.
Theriot.
Theriot. Let me see
Well,
it
why
there.
do you pronounce it Theriot?
Mm-hmm. I guess
It's French.
You'd have to
So
ask.
I'm saying it wrong. It's not Theriot.
Theriot.
It's Theriot. Your
Ter-
last name is Theriot.
Theriot.
Well, why you let me call you Maurice?
Right, look. I'm in your house and
Oh,
saying right.
my God.
Hey, man.
So these are the Therios.
Yes.
Not the Theriots, the Therios.
Yeah.
So you just don't run around here calling me Darcel. That's Darcel.
Maurice and Maxine Theriot. But if you're watching, friend us. Maurice Theriot, Maxine Theriot. You can
I
find
even
us.
like Theriot better.
You can find us on Facebook. Follow us what we're doing at Southside Farms. If you're ever in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, stop by and check us out. Look us up. We'd love to meet you. And then again, when we plan something here at Robinson Farms,
Yes.
we want you to be here as well so we can meet you in person, so we can show you some of those techniques, because we live by a model, each one teach one.
Yes.
We're going to be able to teach you that you can go back to your own communities and teach somebody else. We do it all over the country, and you don't need to miss out. We want to teach you also.
Yes, absolutely. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us today. I thank the Therios. I started off with the Therios. Now I graduated to the Therios. Thank you so much for sharing lunch with me. I appreciate you guys for sharing all of your information concerning gardening and farming. And we just look forward to what you guys will see us partner and do out here. We definitely want you guys to be able to have an amazing experience when you get here, to eat some of these things that are so fresh for you, and to just to definitely rejuvenate yourself and provide healing for you if that's what you need. So my new partner over here,
Group hug, Maxine. Group hug.
we are gonna make that happen. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to the Therios. See, here we go again. I just gave them another name. These people.
Yes.
Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in today. Have the most amazing Sunday. Love you. Bye. Okay. Put my glasses on and shut it down.